I hope you are feeling better.
I am, thank you. Will you not sit down?
In vain have I struggled. It will not do. My feelings will not be repressed. You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you. Elizabeth's astonishment was beyond expression. She stared, colored, doubted, and was silent. This, he considered, sufficient encouragement, and the avowal of all that he felt and had long felt for her immediately followed. He spoke well, but there were feelings besides those of the heart to be detailed, and he was not more eloquent on the subject of tenderness than of pride. His sense of her inferiority, of its being a degradation, of the family obstacles, which judgment had always opposed to inclination, were dwelt on with warmth which seemed due to the consequence he was wounding, but was very unlikely to recommend his suit. In spite of her deeply rooted dislike, she could not be insensible to the compliment of such a man's affection, and though her intentions did not vary for an instant, she was at first sorry for the pain he was to receive. Still, roused to resentment by his subsequent language, she lost all compassion in anger. She tried, however, to compose herself, to answer him with patience when he should have done. He concluded with representing to her the strength of that attachment which, in spite of all his endeavours, he had found impossible to conquer, and with expressing his hope that it would now be rewarded by her acceptance of his hand. As he said this, she could easily see that he had no doubt of a favourable answer. He spoke of apprehension and anxiety, but his countenance expressed real security. Such a circumstance could only exasperate further, and when he ceased, the colour rose into her cheeks, and she said,
In such cases as this, it is, I believe, the established mode to express a sense of obligation for the sentiments avowed, however unequally they may be returned. It is natural that obligation should be felt, and if I could feel gratitude, I would now thank you. But I cannot. I have never desired your good opinion, and you have certainly bestowed it most unwillingly. I am sorry to have occasioned pain to anyone. It has been most unconsciously done, however, and I hope will be of short duration. The feelings which you tell me have long prevented the acknowledgment of your regard can have little difficulty in overcoming it after this explanation.
And this is all the reply of which I am to have the honour of expecting? I might, perhaps, wish to be informed why, with so little endeavour at civility, I am thus rejected, but it is of small importance.
I might as well inquire why, with so evident a design of insulting and offending me, you chose to tell me that you liked me against your will, against your reason, and even against your character. Was not this some excuse for uncivility, if I was uncivil? But I have other provocations. You know I have. Had not my own feelings been decided against you, had they been indifferent, or had they even been favourable, do you think that any consideration would tempt me to accept the man who has been the means of ruining, perhaps forever, the happiness of a most beloved sister? I have every reason in the world to think ill of you. No motive can excuse the unjust and ungenerous part you acted there, and you dare not, no, you cannot deny that you have been the principal, if not only means of dividing them from each other, of exposing one to the censure of the world for caprice and instability, the other to its derision for disappointed hopes, and involving them both in misery of the acutest kind. Can you deny that you have done it?
I have no wish of denying that I did everything in my power to separate my friend from your sister, or that I rejoice in my success. Towards him I have been kinder than towards myself.
But it is not merely this affair on which my dislike is founded. Long before it had taken place, my opinion of you was decided. Your character was unfolded in the recital which I received many months ago from Mr. Wickham. On this subject, what can you have to say? In what imaginary act of friendship can you here defend yourself? Or under what misrepresentation can you here impose upon others?
You take an eager interest in that gentleman's concerns.
Who that knows what his misfortunes have been can help feeling an interest in him?
His misfortunes? Yes, his misfortunes have been great indeed.
And of your infliction, you have reduced him to his present state of poverty, comparative poverty. You have withheld the advantages on which you must know have been designed for him. You have deprived the best years of his life of the independence that was no less his due than his desert. You have done all this, and yet you can treat the mention of his misfortunes with contempt and ridicule.
And this is your opinion of me. This is the estimation in which you hold me. I thank you for explaining it so fully. My faults, according to this calculation, are heavy indeed. But perhaps these offences might have been overlooked, had not your pride been hurt by my honest confession of the scruples that had long prevented my forming any serious design. These bitter accusations might have been suppressed had I with greater policy concealed my struggles and flattered you into the belief of my being impelled by unqualified, unalloyed inclination, by reason, by reflection, by everything. But disguise of every sort is my abhorrence. Nor am I ashamed of the feelings I related. They were natural and just. Could you expect me to rejoice in the inferiority of your connections? To congratulate myself on the hope of relations whose condition in life is so decidedly beneath my own?
You are mistaken, Mr. Darcy, if you suppose that the mode of your declaration affected me in any other way than as it spared me the concern which I might have felt in refusing you had you behaved in a more gentlemanlike manner. You could not have made me the offer of your hand in any possible way that would have tempted me to accept it. From the very beginning, from the first moment, I may almost say, of my acquaintance with you, your manners impressing me with the fullest belief of your arrogance, your conceit, and your selfish disdain on the feelings of others, was such as to form that groundwork of disapprobation on which succeeding events have built so immovable a dislike. And I had not known you a month before I felt that you were the last man in the world whom I could ever be prevailed on to marry.
You have said quite enough, madam. I perfectly comprehend your feelings, and have now only to be ashamed of what my own have been. Forgive me for having taken up so much of your time, and accept my best wishes for your health and happiness. Miss Elizabeth Bennet, I want to press you up against that florid wallpaper of this parlour and make passionate love to you.
not sit down.
Sorry. It's okay. Okay.
Express a sense of obligation for the sentiments avowed.
Pepparkaksgubbe! Forgive me. I hope... She's stuck. Yay! She's free! You're killing me. You take an eager interest in that gentleman's concerns.
Would have tempted me to accept the man who has.
1, 2.
Jag har en gammal moster som heter Ingeborg. Jag brukar henne härma. Han går på stan så. Och så vajar hatten och hatten vajar så. Och så vajar hatten och hatten vajar så. Fast igen.
I don't know how to sit like a man, you know.
Just you can sit down like normal and then maybe open.
Yeah, okay, I'll try.
Will you not sit down? The feelings which you tell me have long prevented the acknowledgement of your regard can be... Så här har vi det.
The man is it.
The biggest mystery in the world.
Rock'n'roll!